You've crossed the Rubicon into the lands of opportunity.
Welcome to the Red Brick Rubicon, a PolyU podcast hosted by ELC. I'm Yuki, your host today from the Faculty of Rehabilitation Science. With me is my lovely co-host. Welcome, John.
Thank you, Yuki. It's great to be back in the Love's Shadow studio. And thank you for that compliment. I haven't been called lovely in years. So, what's on the tap today?
So, we are going to meet a couple of international students who came a long way from their overseas homes to study here at PolyU. And today we will talk to them about their experiences and stories, especially compared to their native lands.
That sounds excellent. I read a lot and hear a lot about the importance of internationalism and quote-unquote diversity on campuses, especially among the student population. So this will be a great chance to hear directly from some international students. Who's up first?
Well, we have here Luke and Lubaba. Welcome both!
Hi everybody, I am Luke Frenken. I am originally from Germany and currently a Year 2 student in the Department of Management and Marketing.
Hi there, I'm Lubaba Hassan. I'm a third year data science and analytics student from Bangladesh. Shubho Oporanno.
Oh, okay. That's Bengali, right?
Yeah, that means...
Excellent. By the way, great names. If you were a couple, you'd have a great Hollywood couple name. Lubaba.
Well, I appreciate that, John. So, I'm pretty curious. Why did you come to Hong Kong and why PolyU, Luke?
For me, first of all, why Hong Kong? For me, it was very important after high school to break free, kind of. And in Germany, it's very common to spend your gap year abroad, which I did. I went to Hong Kong and did a social service. Especially at that time, it was quite hard to get a visa. And yeah, Hong Kong did give me a visa. So yeah, I ended up staying in Hong Kong for a year.
That's very interesting, Luke. I'm just curious, Germany is also known for great education and their universities are really good. So why did you choose to come to Hong Kong and not just go back to Germany again?
That's a very good question. Especially for me, I spent 18 years of my life in Germany, right? So I think it's just the nature of human beings. After you experience so many things for such a long time, you get bored of it. It's kind of boring. And Hong Kong has a lot to offer. And I did 2 more internships after my gap year in Hong Kong and decided, Hong Kong is a good place to spend my undergrad as well. And I was quite fortunate enough to get a scholarship, which then eventually made me choose PolyU over other Hong Kong universities such as UST or HKU.
Well, Luke, I remember you've mentioned something about the scholarship. So I would like to ask whether it's really difficult to get into it, or could you tell me more about the details of it?
That's a very good question. I feel like the scholarship does not only depend on your final high school grade. That's probably not the only reason. I think other important factors would also be extracurricular stuff you might have done during high school. Or in my case, it was the social service and the internships I did before. And then also another factor might have been diversity factor, right?
Well, okay, so now, Lubaba, do you mind telling us why you're here in Hong Kong?
I think my reasons are to Luke. I came to Hong Kong because of the international exposure. Hong Kong is used to having a lot of international people around for a very long time. Compared to other Asian countries like Japan or South Korea, they don't really get many international students or international people in general. So that's why I felt more comfortable to come to Hong Kong. And I came to PolyU exactly for the same reason as Luke, for affordability, because I got the scholarship.
I'm getting the feeling that a lot of international students from overseas are given scholarship. What's the percentage roughly? Do you know?
I think it's actually the majority.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree. I think a lot of students come here because Hong Kong is so expensive. So without a scholarship, it's very difficult to sustain in Hong Kong.
Okay. Well, I see why PolyU and other universities want to attract students from overseas. At least in theory, it adds to the diversity of the campus and quote-unquote their strength in our diversity. But I want to ask Yuki, as a local here, how has the fairly significant international overseas student population affected your experience on campus?
Well, in fact, so far I've never come across with a non-local students in my major, but if I really do, I think it perhaps added some additional or more unique values in my campus life. Like we most of the time we're speaking Cantonese, but out of a sudden we might have to adapt into other accents and try to learn another way to communicate with each other. So well, I think in terms of daily life, it might make it less boring, or we might have another competent rivals in our studies.
A competitive rival in your studies. Interesting. Okay.
Oh, speaking of studying abroad, oh look, I'm actually going to Germany for a semester exchange. Do you have any tips for me?
That's actually very nice because I think you're going to Munich, right?
Yeah.
Munich is probably like the city everybody has in mind when they think about Germany. Old architecture, beer, leather pants, sausages. That's like the typical Bavarian Munich thing. So you might actually experience the typical stereotypical German experience. And for some tips, I would say walk very fast. Hong Kong people tend to be like they're walking very fast, but they do not. In Germany, everything is fast paced. Also, don't be late to classes. The stereotype might be true. If you're late to class, the teacher might not like that. And also, you have only one big assessment at the end for every single subject. So it's not like in Hong Kong where you have a group project or something. No, you have one final exam, which counts for 100%.
You have to make sure that you get on the class on time. Well, speaking of the reason why you come here, so I've known both of you have come here for 2 years, right? So how would you describe your experience so far, Luke?
I would say so far it was very, very nice. I enjoyed it a lot. Especially PolyU offers a wide variety of different activities and clubs we might be able to join. So I joined the business and rowing club. And especially in the rowing club, I found it very, very nice to just be surrounded by just locals all the time.
PolyU has a rowing club?
Yeah, it does.
Okay. All right.
Well, we've never heard about that. Perhaps I should go visit around. So is it hard to make friends with locals for you?
I would say not, especially through the rowing club. Since there are only locals inside the club, I was just forced to listen to Cantonese all the time and also improve my Cantonese, which I enjoyed so much.
What other experiences, Luke?
I think PolyU offers a lot, right? For example, they sponsored a trip to the UK for like a summer program this summer in Cambridge. And also they did organize a trip to Nepal, which was organized under the Student Affairs Office of PolyU, and it's called the Eagle Program, where we invented like a waste management system for a local school in Nepal.
Me too. I also did the Eagle program, but instead I went to Vietnam. And they had a lot of like MC training courses that helped me a lot to do my student sharing session recently in the PolyU orientation.
Yeah, that's true. I think speaking of MC, PolyU offers a lot of things to develop your skills in public speaking as well. For example, I got asked to be the MC for the President's High Table Dinner this year in April, where we hosted around 300 people, including a speech of the former HKX executive.
What's the high table dinner?
It's an annually organized high table dinner. I mean that's the proper definition, right? Like how would you? It's a formal dinner.
Okay. So high doesn't refer to the table; it refers to the people at the table.
Yeah.
Prestigious, high status.
Okay, so I think lots of students would love to be able to be better speakers in public but are scared. So Luke, what's the trick to be a good MC?
I think one of the major things is being prepared. Since we had like a lot of training workshops before as well. The major thing, but I think it applies basically for everything in life, right? The better you prepare, the easier it is in the end. And I think same goes for being an MC.
Well, Yuki, I also have an answer to your question: how to become a better public speaker. Well, one way would be to join the debate club. So, shout out to the debate club, you nerds.
Nerds. So Lubaba, how's your experience so far, and has it met any of your expectations?
Yeah, actually my experience has been pretty good. Just like Luke, I've been part of a lot of student clubs, especially in my second year. I was part of the Student Affairs Office Wellness Ally program, where we work to promote mental health and overall physical wellness to students. And as I mentioned, I was also part of Eagle, and I did work with special education needs student to foster their language learning. So that was very interesting. And I met a lot of local students during those experiences, and I was really friendly with them. But for some reason, I was not able to make close friendships with the local students.
What are the reasons why that you think there are no close friends with you?
I think the main reason would be kind of a language barrier. We are always friendly with each other. If I see them somewhere, I will definitely go up to them and say hi. But none of us made the effort to go out of our way to hang out. So it's probably bad in both my part and maybe in theirs as well. And sometimes during social interactions, if I'm the only international person in the group, the local students would just switch to Cantonese and not acknowledge that a person is there who cannot understand them. So it was a bit disheartening for me.
Do you think local students should be switching over into English when you're around, or is the onus on you and me to learn the language?
Yeah, it's definitely I should be learning the language, but in the meantime, I think they can make an effort to switch to English sometimes. They don't have to maybe translate some words.
Let me switch over to a question I have for both you and Luke, because both of you have mentioned a lot about student clubs and social aspects as a big part of your experience in this new learning environment. But what about the teachers?
Yeah, the experience with teachers have been great for me, especially the ELC teachers. Shout out.
Thank you. Not paid.
Also in my department, which is the Applied Mathematics department, I mostly had good teachers. I really can't pinpoint and say that was a bad professor.
They're all nerds, though. Be honest. Come on.
Yeah, they are, but the teaching was good.
They wear
mostly.
the pocket protectors and they're okay. Luke, how about you? Don't be so political. Give it to me straight, baby. I can take it.
For me, it was a very similar experience, I would say. Without being too nice to the ELC teachers. They were very, very nice, especially the class sizes, I think, made it way easier because you just have like a very little amount of people inside the class. So it's like very personal. And yeah, also beyond this, the business teacher and the faculty of business are always very nice. I would disagree with the AMA teachers so far. My AMA teacher was a bit boring, but maybe that's personal preference.
Okay, I think what's our next? You want to move on, Yuki? What's our next and maybe even last question for our guests?
Well, so since both of you are from the overseas, so I would like you to have some of the simple tips for those who are interested in coming to studying in Hong Kong as well as in Hong Kong PolyU as well. Is there anything?
I would say dating is a good idea. I did date I am dating from my first year, and I think it helped me to get a sense of belonging to the university and even to Hong Kong, because when you're so apart from home and you're in a completely new environment, it's nice to have a familiar person or a face just to have a comfort zone.
Interesting. So you're saying dating locals, especially locals, you can learn more about the culture?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
Agree.
All right. Henry Kissinger has something called ping pong diplomacy. Maybe we could call this badminton anthropology.
Yeah, you can call that.
I would kind of disagree with the staying comfortable thing. You mentioned dating makes you feel a bit more comfortable, especially in your environment. However, I feel like for myself, especially as an undergrad, I could maybe say try to stay as uncomfortable as possible. What does it actually mean? Do as many things as possible where you have to step out of your comfort zone. Because I feel like, especially your undergrad studies, you should experience as many things as possible. And you can do this while literally saying yes to everything. Obviously to a certain extent, because you should still consider maintaining a good academic lifestyle as well, right? But if you get any invitations or anything, just say yes and do it.
So that's the end of our first section. I know that Lubaba is in a hurry to go to Macau to have some good casino experience and some good dating.
Gangster gambling.
Yeah, sure. So thank you all of you. Be sure to check out part 2 of the overseas student experience, where we will meet Jose from Chile in the future episode of the Rubicon.
Thank you, guys and girls.
Thank you so much. Dankeschön.
Thank you, John. Tonno bad.
No more arigato, Mr. Roboto.